The noticing will continue until morale improves. You know, Archer, I noticed something myself, which is that Paul and the entire lineage of the Fuentes movement goes back to Jeffrey Epstein. That's what I noticed.
What do you mean by that?
Well, Jeffrey Epstein pretty much strategized to create Paul. Nick Fuentes was raised off of Paul.
Oh, you're talking about 4chan.
Yeah, and now he's selling the Epstein quarter zip. So the son returns to the father.
Gotcha. Is your I haven't really kept up with your Fuentes takes when it comes to this Epstein stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What's your? It feels like there's like a lot of angles people are coming at him at this point.
You know what I think? I think he's an agent of the French government. Unironically, someone pointed this out. Guys, I forgot to tell you about this. In the Epstein emails, Epstein literally said, Macron is my guy. He's like, I own everyone in the Macron government, and Macron is my guy. And I'm like, whoa. And then remember the Fuentes Macron government connections we kind of explored, like how randomly that guy in France supposedly killed himself and then gave him 250,000 in Bitcoin, and how like he suspiciously defended Macron randomly like 2 years ago when the right-wing uprising happened, like literally.
But are you talking about when it was against Candace, when she was?
No, before then.
I don't know.
There was this kind of right-wing protest against Macron, anti-immigrant, right? And for some reason, like Nick Fuentes supported Macron. He was like, yeah, I hope Macron crushes them. It's like, huh? It's like, well, isn't Macron like a Rothschild banker or whatever? And he was like, no, you don't get it. And then there was the weird kind of like pro-EU line he has. And then as soon as like shit started getting serious between France and Russia, he like started going after Russia, right? And
there has not been a single instance of Fuentes being out of lockstep with Macron.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, there's no exceptions. And then the reason he started coming after me and Jackson with the third worldism thing was because of Burkina Faso and because of Mali, right? And who is threatened by those African states? France. Like, France got super fucked, right? They're former French colonies, and they're fucking over French economic interests. And then and then yes, the Candace stuff for sure. Super weird how he like got super triggered by Candace going after the Macrons.
Okay, that's not weird. Are you serious? She's like completely schizo. You think anything she says is reliable?
Yeah. Okay, that's where he drew the schizo line. Really, what about all the retarded shit people were saying, calling me Jewish, calling Stalin Jewish? Like, there was so much stupid slop going on that he didn't.
I've never heard somebody call you Jewish. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, also, I don't think that it still happens. Anyway, look, there's so much retarded schizophrenia before Candace, and Nick Fuentes only started giving a shit about it when the Macrons were in the crosshairs.
Well, yeah, because frankly, okay, that is. I mean, somebody calling you Jewish is not on the same scale as Candace Owens live streaming to millions of people, like pretty much. Splitting up this whole right side, the whole right wing.
Wait,
right?
How is she splitting it? Even if she was wrong about the Macrons, where's the split? Why are the Macrons like contentious?
Well, I'm not talking about that in particular. I mean, look at the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah. You know, but that's all settled because I did it, right? Because Nick Fuentes solved the case when he said that ACP did it and Haz did it, so it's okay. Before we get to Kirk, I just want to say the French connection. Nobody ever investigates it. Nobody ever talks about it.
Well, I think
there's a really critical piece of the puzzle missing, which is that they both prefer men in dresses.
Yeah, that too. That's also true. Yeah,
the like chunk of money in Bitcoin from that guy is like the only maybe reliable thing. But
then why does he always lockstep have the exact position as Emmanuel Macron on everything that happens in the world?
I barely hear him talk about Macron. I don't really think
look into it, man. Just try to start noticing, and you might notice something. You might notice a connection.
Dude, I just all right. I don't think he talks about that a lot.
There's something going on with that. Maybe that's like he sees it as like a Catholic monarchist LARP because Macron is, I don't know, a crypto monarchist. But in any case, something weird and funky is going on.
I don't know. I think the main thing, especially when it came to the Candace stuff, is that he doesn't want to taint the entire the right wing and this whole movement with some schizo nonsense. That's plain and simple what it is.
Yeah. Because beforehand it was just like so level-headed and totally sane, totally rational before Candace.
Well, yeah, I mean the
Right.
foundational beliefs, like
Our
these.
fucking schizophrenic retardation from the
You
beginning.
mean
Dude,
like
he was a poll guy. What
you
are we
mean you
talking
mean you
about?
mean like
He's the biggest schizo on the fucking internet.
okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, no, the foundational beliefs, like the things that are going to be typically promoted
Yeah,
or talked
like
about by
how
him.
Stalin killed 500 trillion people in the Holodomor, and the
Well,
Jewish
okay,
guy Yagoda was behind all of it.
well, no, I
Even
mean,
though he got shot like 1 year later.
no, I'm not talking about like some fun facts. I'm talking about like the foundations of the beliefs of like the right wing, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the stuff that
they're
matters.
the foundational beliefs of the right wing are schizophrenic and always have been.
Well, in like what? Which ones?
Well, for starters, their views about communism and its origins.
Again, I don't even think that's like relevant. I'm talking about like the actual policies and the things that they're believing in and promoting
Yeah,
for.
Commie Killer 45.
Who the fuck is that?
Well, look, all I'll say is that the right was full of nutcases for most of its existence, and I kind of feel like Candace was onto something,
What?
and that's when Fuentes had a problem. You know, there was like so much retarded shit, and then all Candace did was start asking to raise questions about what's going on with Bridget Macron, which honestly, good point. And then the other thing was who the fuck killed Charlie Kirk? What the fuck happened with that? Which is totally
Yes.
legitimate.
So you think it's less schizo being like I saw it. My sources. I saw it in a dream. Like that's like not as schizo as
Well,
like
that's not.
I think it's the same level of schizo as accusing us of doing it.
No, it's worse. It's much worse because Candace knew Charlie Kirk personally, so at least like maybe he did appear in a dream. Who knows, right? But the
I saw
idea that
evidence.
hold on, the idea that I did it and got away with it, that's fucking crazy.
Okay, he didn't say you.
He
You
did
did it,
say I
bro.
did it. He did
He
say I
literally
did it.
did.
When did he say that? He said you pulled
He
the
said
trigger. Is that,
Tyler Robinson was acting under the orders of Haz and ACP.
is that a quote? Because I remember him
No, the
saying. I
direct
remember.
quote is that all these commies are trying to blame Israel, but Tyler Robinson was in Haz's Discord, and Haz suspiciously wiped his Discord the same
Yeah,
day that
yeah.
it happened,
Okay, so you,
and
exactly. That's completely different.
then he said, there has to be a connection there, and that he told Jackson he's going to go to jail for a long time once it's found out that Tyler Robinson was in the ACP. You're all going to jail. It's like all of these claims were just made up.
Well, so that's a pretty big revision from you fucking killed him to like this guy that
No,
killed
but
him was in your
Clearly
circle.
the
the same
implication
thing.
is clear. The implication is that ACP killed Charlie Kirk. I'm the chairman of the ACP, so ergo, QED.
Well, okay, still pretty big difference, and still
Yeah,
not
so when
nearly
we
as
say that
insane as.
It's like
Netanyahu
some shit
killed
Daniel
all the
Tut. It's like that's just
Palestinians,
like
means that
something
he
Daniel
literally
Tut
did,
would
right?
make up. It's like Daniel Tut level fabrication.
Yeah, well, regardless, still different than what you initially said, and still not nearly on the same scale as Egyptian planes. And my sources, I saw it in a dream, and there's a trap door, and he's a time traveler. Like this is a
Okay,
bunch
but
of nonsense.
Israel did do it though, for sure.
Okay, what evidence do you have of that?
It's just so clear.
But suddenly it's evidence. Suddenly it's evidence.
Ian Carroll literally has all the evidence. He has all the receipts.
Ian Carroll, bro.
Yeah, what did he say that's so outlandish? Ian Carroll literally laid it out.
I don't watch it. To be honest, I can't bear watching Ian Carroll. But you can tell me what did he? Maybe the quick cliff notes of like what he
That
laid out.
fucking gun could not have been contained by his neck, the bullet type.
So Israel did it because of that. Like, let's just grant that that's true. How does Israel involved in any way?
It's just obvious that
What?
Israel was involved. We all know that.
Okay, so I mean, if your evidence that Israel was involved, your evidence is that
I find
the bullet that was
I
used.
find it very likely because clearly the real killer was not Tyler Robinson. Clearly there was a cover up. Clearly the FBI was not being fully honest. Clearly they talked about working with foreign intelligence agencies on the case. Why? clearly, you know, Kirk did have some falling out with his Jewish donors or Israeli donors. And yeah, clearly the incentive was there. All the irregularities surrounding it were there. Somebody fucking did it.
So
And
do you think Tyler Robinson is like what's the word, patsy or whatever? Like he was planted. That's like the fall guy.
could be.
Why
Because
did Netanyahu, within the same hour of the assassination,
well,
say he's so sorry for Charlie or whatever the fuck, coming out of like an
I mean, no,
important
okay, you know what?
government?
I think by the same standard of evidence that Israel killed JFK. What about that? Did Israel kill JFK?
I'm not convinced either way in that
Well,
case, but
Fuentes claims it's a definitive yes. Okay.
I agree he does, and I think frankly, I
So
think
there you
when
go.
it
So
comes to
why is it standard of evidence? It's the fact that Nick Fuentes denied Israel
well,
killed Charlie Kirk that convinces me he did. Because Fuentes would be willing to believe any of these theories, right? He thinks that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Sorry, Israel killed JFK. So why is he suddenly like trying to be like scientific and empiricist about Charlie Kirk? Doesn't make
well, I
any
mean,
sense.
on a baseline level, there's still more Jewish involvement in the JFK assassination than this
No,
one.
there
There's literally
isn't.
zero
Are
in
you
this.
kidding? Are you what? Are you kidding? Like Charlie Kirk was literally embedded directly with the fucking Jewish Zionist mafia.
Yeah, and they loved him. He was sucked their dick all
Yeah.
the
So,
time.
but then he started to be a little. Oh, I'm influenced too much by Candace. Oh, I'm going a little bit too much, and then something changed, and then there was a problem.
Okay, well that's pretty vague.
So
And
I just am curious because, I think the Goy cattle, psychology really interests me. But
mhm.
so why is it that when Nick Fuentes says within like 2 hours of the assassination that we did it, there's zero scrutiny. But then when we come up with a much more plausible explanation that Israel's involved, suddenly it's, well, what's your evidence, bro? Like, what are we talking about?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously
No, no,
he's
Nick.
Can we
You know
just
what? You
say
know
that
the
you
evidence
don't
Nick
actually
Fuentes
believe
gave.
anything and you just like get
Nick
all of your
Fuentes said it
ideas
was
inseminated in
no.
your head by a fucking retard?
No. Nick Fuentes gave evidence. He said he heard it on Mug Club. He said he heard it on Steven Crowder's subscriber only show.
Right.
That
yeah,
ACP did it. By the way,
yeah. So obviously,
all this originated. You know where it actually originated? On 4chan. The same day of the assassination, mysteriously, random posts on 4chan went up trying to tie me to it.
On poll.
Yep, on poll.
yeah. So I think obviously he would.
So why can you also answer the
Okay.
question of
Well, I'm
why
trying to
poll
talk.
the number one place that people post from on poll is Israel?
That's people can no. That's like a people can. I'm pretty sure I looked
No,
into
that's
that.
real. Can you answer that?
Yeah, people can select their country on there. I'm pretty sure.
Interesting.
It's like
So
it's
everyone
like a
just
troll.
decides to choose Israel.
Yeah, it's like a troll. Like people select
Right.
Israel.
Oh, I get it.
It's
But
very
I've
convenient.
never,
It's not
frankly, I've
tied to
never
your
been on
IP.
4chan, but that's from what I understand, that's how it works. You can choose it, and it's
Right.
like a troll.
Totally
Like
not
obviously,
tied to
you're gonna
your
pick
IP.
Israel.
Yeah,
But look, we're jumping around.
anyway, look, at the end of the day, nobody fucking knows anything with certainty. Nobody's
That's well,
claiming
yeah,
certainty. That's the issue. Of course there
I'm
can't
fine
be
with that.
certainty, but what would be a plausible explanation for a lot of this kind of shit, right? And I
Yeah,
find it plausible that Israel probably killed him. Now, do I know that with certainty? I mean, fuck, I don't know anything with certainty except the fact that I'm a real motherfucker and Nick Fuentes is a little bitch. But at the end of the
okay.
day, all I know
Well,
with
okay.
certainty is that Nick Fuentes is 5'5" or 5'6". That's the only thing I know
I,
with certainty.
So Archer, you
I
claim
got
We
you
you.
proved
claim
that
definitively
mathematically.
you claim
Okay,
definitively that you can choose what country you post from?
bro. But no, not definitively.
Oh,
That's
okay.
from what I
Yeah, I'd just
understood.
like you to do a simple Google search real quick,
Cool.
just so
I'll
everybody
check it
knows how
out.
retarded
I'll
you
check
are.
it out in a sec. But
So
real
look,
quick,
and look,
okay.
why
Can I
look
respond
all
to any of
this to
this?
detract
God
from
damn.
my wonderful theory that Nick
Yeah, that's what
Fuentes
I want
is
to get back to. So
connected to the French government.
okay, gotcha. But look, the reason I asked if you think Robinson was the fall guy or whatever, like, okay, if we think about this logically, you know, if we assume Israel's going to do some sort of operation, it's going to be probably pretty sophisticated, you know? And, when it first happened, I was thinking, obviously, that's plausible. What you would expect most likely is that a fall guy would probably be like a Muslim, right? Like, first thoughts, like, that would be the most.
No, you wouldn't. You
Why,
wouldn't
why
because
not? Why
Israel is
not?
more scared of the white American left wingers who are pro Palestine than they are of Muslims. Muslims are less than 1% of the US population. It's unlike Europe, America doesn't have a problem with too many Muslims being in it. As far as Israel's concerned, it has too many left wingers in it who are pro Palestine.
You
Muslims
think
are a
Jews?
negligible force in US politics.
Yeah, but the U.S. That's not what they care. They care about Israel, right? You think the
Right.
Jews in Israel are more worried about white leftists or Muslims
Yes. Yes,
in
in America,
Israel?
of course they are.
In
Because
Israel,
Muslims in
bro.
America are not going to tip the scale. White leftists are.
Yeah, I'm talking about in for Israel,
Yeah,
right? Like this.
In America, white leftists have a better chance of advocating for Palestine than Muslims do. Absolutely. There's way more of them.
Yeah, you keep saying in America, but I'm talking about in
Why are
Israel.
we talking about in Israel and in
Because
Timbuktu? Why are we talking
because
about that?
because if Israel was the one who
Why would they
killed Charlie
want to?
Kirk.
Okay, if they're trying to frame Muslims, then let's say the end result would be that we deported every American Muslim. Okay, you're still not getting rid of the fundamental problem, which is white leftist support for
I don't think
Palestine.
that would be the goal, dude. The goal would be to spur support of the Americans for more military intervention in the Middle East.
Yeah, but the
Like,
biggest obstacle to that are white leftists.
okay, so like I'm not saying that you're gonna
It's not
like
Muslims who are in the way of that. And by the
yeah, I
way,
know.
white leftists are not particularly religious, and it's not out of solidarity with American Muslims that they're pro Palestine. They're pro Palestine because they themselves are sick and tired of being ruled and occupied by Zionist oligarchs and billionaires.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure they have their grievances, but again, my point is simply that like if I was Israel, I would simply want to spur support for um, you know military intervention in the Middle East, and the way to do that is to show the extreme nature
Yeah,
of these
they're not gonna
Islamists.
no no because even then, if they tried another 9/11, nobody would buy it.
No,
There were plenty of ISIS attacks in the 20. Nobody gave a shit really. And it's the only thing that'll spur more support for Israel is targeting and silencing the anti-Zionist movement in the U.S. That's the only way. There's no other way.
gotcha. Well, then I'm just not really sure what the assassination did for Israel. To be honest, I don't
It
see
did
why they would
it
go
did
out of the way to.
two things. Okay, this is the easiest question, right? It's like, what's the incentive? Well, it's obvious. Okay, the two things that it would have done if they were behind it is a neutralize what they perceived as a threat. Someone who was the leader of all of TPUSA, had all that power. Had he decided to go more independent, fuck the entire youth wing of the Republican Party becoming anti-Zionist. Yikes! He was too powerful. And I'm not saying that would have happened overnight, but he could have become a Tucker Carlson in a year or two, right? So
Yeah, but Tucker.
then you have the fact that Israel wants to foment more conflict within domestic U.S. politics in ways that will create federal crackdowns on left-wing organizations and quote-unquote left-wing extremism, which neutralizes the most vocal anti-Zionist and most organized anti-Zionist force in the country. So, those are the two main reasons. And then, another smoking gun piece of evidence is like, what about Erica Kirk, though? Like, look at
Oh,
the
she's sketchy as fuck. I'll give you
yeah,
that.
yeah, exactly. So it's like there's so much shit that's just like there's some funky business, some funny business, I should say, and clearly the story they're telling us is not the real one.
Well, I don't take issue with that exact sentiment, right? Like that's not outside the realm of plausibility. It does seem suspicious, especially Eric Kirk is suspicious. I just think that you're smoking gun of like some sort of statements Charlie Kirk made. Look, I mean, when you
Listen,
overlay that
man,
with
it's
his
not
with
it's
his
not one thing. It's all these things together. It's all these
okay,
things combined together into
but
one
let's be honest.
reality.
If Charlie Kirk never made like that was one or two statements that was like very
No,
slightly
what about
critical
the
of
text
Israel,
messages? Remember the text messages that
which
got
ones?
leaked?
Which ones? The ones where he was like, "Yes, Candace, I was bumping that Nicki Minaj."
No, the one that I posted. Go on my timeline, look at the one I posted
Let me look.
back in the
When did
day.
we post it? Back in the day.
Bro, he literally said the Jewish donors are stereotypes. Like, I don't know what more evidence you need.
What is that? Okay, he
That's
said the
literally in a
Jewish.
verified text message.
Text
Okay, so
two
he
days
said
before
Jews
he
like
died.
money.
2 days before he died.
So he said Jews like money,
No,
and
it
so
was
they were like, we have
more.
to kill him. That's well, if that's all it said, if Kyle quoted it correctly, then that's just like not much. I
Nope.
mean, Like, if he wouldn't have died and
Just
he said
lost
that,
another
No.
huge.
No one is this retarded. Like, how
Just-
much evidence?
No,
do you
I'll
need?
read it. I'll read his text.
not evidence, bro.
Just 2 days before, just lost another huge Jewish donor. 2 million a year because we won't cancel Tucker, and I'm thinking of inviting Candace. Ugh. Jewish donors play into all of the stereotypes. I cannot and will not be bullied like this, leaving me no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. 2 days before he died. That's crazy. 2 days before he's dead.
How does Israel benefit though?
he's gonna leave the pro-Israel cause and then just
And he's
die.
going to expose that they've been giving him tens of millions of fucking dollars to influence domestic politics for decades.
He literally
like,
went.
what are we talking about?
He's like, all right, guys, I'm leaving the pro-Israel cause, and then 2 days later, we are Charlie Kirk. We care. Like literally 2 days later, that's what happened. 2 days later.
Well, I mean, you bring up Candace and Tucker,
and then
like,
you say
2 days
Eric
later,
is guilty
Haz-
of shit, and you give us that. But look what she's doing.
what's
Shabbat Shalom. What are we
what's the
talking
Breaker
about?
meme? 2 days later, the ACP militant cell led by Raja Patel, Hassan Piker, Haz, Raja Patel's ACP cell gave Tyler Robinson the instructions and orders to carry the flame, so to speak, all the
That's
way.
pretty
to Charlie
funny. I
Kirk.
mean, but by the way, I mean, him bringing up Candace and Tucker, I mean, these are two people that, really just don't even understand it. They don't mention Jews at all. They don't think
Okay,
it's
it
a
doesn't
problem.
matter, but clearly, the powerful Jews are more afraid of them than they are Nick Fuentes.
The powerful Jews are,
because they bought him.
Yeah, because Nick Fuentes
Holy.
was never mainstream. These are two mainstream conservatives. That
yeah, but they never say anything about Jews. So, like,
You're
why
just
would they
fucking
be?
purity testing them. They started out as milquetoast conservatives, and then they turned into being
Yeah, and then when Nick
critical.
popularized it, they fucking sucked it up, and they were like,
You're such a fucking
shift over
retard.
to-
You genuinely think that like these Zionist people
No, yeah,
care
he
that you mention
thinks-
the Jews?
He thinks
They love that.
he thinks Israel is genuinely opposed to people who just hate Jews.
Bro literally thinks that Zionism
No,
is
they're
like,
fucking. How do you? Okay,
pro-Semitic.
hold on. No, let me
What
put it
are we
this way.
talking about?
Let's
I don't
talk
know what you're
about
saying.
Israel's number one enemy in the world, which is Iran. Iran, officially, as a matter of state policy, upholds, tolerates, and protects its Jewish minority. Khamenei praises the people of the book. He says we have no issue with Jews. It's just the Zionists. So how come Iran is more of a threat to Israel than some retard guy in America who fucking is tweaking about the tunnels or some shit? Like at the end of the day, Israel doesn't give a fuck about JQers. They care about people who concretely threaten pro-Zionist narratives. Tucker and Candace do that far more effectively than Nick Fuentes does.
The Zionists benefit from JQers because it consolidates the Jewish
Theodore
community
Herzl
because they feel like they're under attack.
The direct
Said
quote
something.
from Theodore Herzl, it was, "The anti-Semites shall be our greatest allies." That's literally what he said.